Oh, hell yeah, gin. And I got beer. We're getting fucking sloshed. Yes, we did. We talked for like 40 minutes. It was awesome.
Perfect. Well, you guys can drink for me because I'm not drinking tonight. So
What?
might do it tomorrow. Listen, Chad. What do you want me to do?
Drink.
Where's my alcohol? I have water. I am boring today.
Go. Don't you have a
Put
bottle
it in
of
an
vodka?
alcohol bottle.
Yeah.
And start acting.
Yeah.
Start acting. Act now. Grab alcohol and act. This is like a terrible PSA. Don't show any children. Absolutely terrifying. Well, everybody, welcome back to your friendly neighborhood comic show. Maybe your AA meeting that I didn't know we had here. I don't know what's happening. But welcome back. I'm super excited to have two awesome indie creators on here today. We have Chad Perkins, and we've got Blake Matthias, and they are the creators behind the Legend of SparkleDog. What's up, guys?
Oh, you know, rolling around in self-loathing.
See, that's why I'm not drinking tonight, because I don't want to self-loathe today.
Oh, well.
I'm drinking because I'm rolling around in his self-loathing.
Oh my gosh.
No,
well, welcome, you guys. Welcome. I'm super excited to talk about this book because this is probably one of the wackiest books I've ever seen, I've ever read. And I think it's something that everybody just needs to read because of how wacky it is. So whoever wants to start, what is this about? Where the heck did it come from? Why is everything sparkly like Blake's background?
Yeah, Blake, why is your background like all gross and rainbowy?
It's on theme.
Oh, okay.
SparkleDog is obnoxiously rainbow.
That is true, yes. Where he is disgustingly rainbow. All right, so SparkleDog follows the story of, God, what is it about? I don't fucking know. SparkleDog follows the story of our gender fluid character named Quinn, who really is a huge troll with furries. He's making fun of them, and he finds out that you can buy fursonas, and that's a real thing. Like, people actually sell fursonas, and you can buy them for money. When I found that out, I realized I was in the wrong business. I was like, shit. So they end up buying it, and when it arrives, they find out that it's a sentient creature known as SparkleDog. And it was originally the protector of the human race. And that's what furries were. They protected the humans, and there was always world peace. Well, 4 guardians decided to steal away SparkleDog because of some kind of mysterious situation. And now nobody remembers what furries once were.
What?
So Quinn, this is very long. So Quinn has to collect 4 crystal paw pads from the Guardians, so that way he can bring back world peace, all while going on this multi-genre reality-shifting adventure.
That's wild.
Yes. Now, here's the thing, though. It's a horror book. So it's possible that it's not about world peace.
It's possible. Chad, I just have a feeling, knowing you, that it's not quite about that.
Every time when I show Blake the scripts and everything, he goes, Chad. But Blake, actually, I think you're the one who started coming up with the idea of SparkleDog, weren't you?
It came from the idea of, like, I don't know why, but I just had this idea of, like, a mural, like a rock, like from Skyrim, the dragon shout murals, but with a bunch of furries instead.
Yeah, we what it was is that we were helping our buddy Kit sell art at our local furry con. And Blake and I, we were having a couple of drinks, and we were just sitting there. I think we were at lunch or something, or we were just behind the booth at lunch. And as we were talking, Blake started talking about Skyrim and just like all the different fursuiters. And I was like, have you ever thought, are the fursuits them, or are they the fursuits? Like, what what's going on? So we just started talking about this dumb idea about a fursuit controlling this person and just sending him on this weird adventure of furry discovery. Well, then we joked about it for I think about a good month. And instead, I decided to get drunk because that's always every time when I come up with an idea, it's always because I was drinking. I start writing the first page for fun, and I send it to Blake, and then one thing led to another, and then he drew a concept art for it, which was Quinn.
Yeah, we were both just playing chicken back and forth until eventually this became an actual comic.
Yeah.
Chad was like, I scripted a page, and I'm like, oh, I drew a page, and he's like, oh, I'm done with an issue, and I'm like, oh, and it's just like, it's Kickstarter now, and it's like Mr. Brightside playing in the background. How did it
I can think of I think of the what was it, the Hoobastank? How could this happen to me? I made my mistakes. But that's how the SparkleDog came to be. Is Blake and I were at this furry convention, and we were just shooting the shit about just a fandom that we're not really a part of. And actually, we both had a very good time there. It was really weird. We were both like, yeah, we're having a great time. We're partying. So, but yeah.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, I was actually going to ask, like, kind of who came up with the idea and you know, Blake, your involvement in it, because you know, I talk with Chad a lot personally, even outside of this, so I got to watch the progression from this great idea becoming an even greater idea. So it's really fun to hear about how, you know, you both were in on it, and this is kind of both your baby, you know?
Well, it's yeah, no. Blake, elaborate. This is his first interview, so I'm gonna nag him.
Chad, don't take the spotlight from Blake. God.
I'm not.
It's something that's sort of like, we didn't think about putting as much effort as we did, and then it just sort of snowballed until we were both like, yeah, actually, I want to put a bit more effort than like just like sidelining it. And like, it was kind of like I was saying earlier, where it was like we were just playing chicken until we just started making this into a much bigger thing than we thought it was going to be.
Yeah, we because I was actually working on my fish book, like my fishing book that I'm currently working on too, and then God knows, we just did it.
Nothing wrong with that. And kind of like you were talking about Blake earlier when we were kind of lightly teasing you about your rainbow background, which I think is fantastic, by the way. Chad you don't have to have a rainbow, Chad. I will take the rainbows.
Thank you. Good.
But I just love how that really does go with like the mask and the costume and the theme of like, even though you guys joked about it, of am I me, or is the fursuit me? You know, which one kind of takes over there? You know, reminds me of like just how important fashion actually is, though, in reality. Like, people are like, hey, you dress one way, you're going to act differently than if you dress another way. Do we kind of see an exploration with our main characters' own growth and like confidence and self-development, or is that not at all what happens?
To be perfectly honest with you, no. That's no. Quinn.
I wish we could say this just had some like nice moral standing behind it, but it's more like, oh.
No, to be perfectly honest with you, we wanted to push the line of how uncomfortable we can make a situation for this character. Just like, what kind of batshit weird stuff can we do with Quinn? They're almost like, I mean, I do like Quinn as a character because they're a troll, but I would say maybe in the last issue, yes, they do have kind of a conundrum and kind of like a coming to Jesus moment, if you will, but it's not anything that you would expect, because Blake and I had it written originally as this one particular thing, and I go, Blake, we can't. We got to make this even weirder because each issue is like a different genre, and it means that the final issue has to be that as well. And I'm Blake. This is the ending.
Yeah, I feel like we just keep upping the ante with like everything. Like usually there's a little voice that's saying like, okay, keep it within these parameters, and then it's just like, no, just something clicks, and we're just like, no, like.
No.
When I remember when I was designing SparkleDog, I was just like, all right, just make like a pink dog head, and then it was like, no, like half of it's like make it a half zombie thing.
Yes, because SparkleDog is actually a real furry thing. It's like a Lisa Frank costume. So yeah, we up the rainbows, and then Blake was the one who came up with the idea of the zombified, almost Five Nights at Freddy's type feel to it. I want to say, because I mean that was kind of an inspiration as well. I'm not gonna lie, because I like Five Nights at Freddy's, and I'm always gonna stand behind that. But no, Blake did a lot of the designs for it, and I was very happy with his artwork and his contribution. Because when we came up with he brought up the idea of making like an Invader Zim style art.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy that.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that, but you're absolutely right. It definitely has that Invader Zim feel. And honestly, it's nice to hear, about a comic that isn't really, its purpose isn't to like teach you something in the end or give you a moral. It's just to have fun and just enjoy your shit and have a great time. And I think we can see that just in the covers alone. Like, you guys have some really good covers here. Like, you have the A cover that was on here. You got this black and white here. I mean, how in the world did you get other people to contribute these crazy, amazing covers?
I don't know. Chad just kept sending me Telegram messages like, "Hey, somebody made a cover," and I'm like, they willingly drew it.
Yeah, so I actually threatened most of the people that were involved with this. Yeah, so
that's on brand as well.
Yes, yeah. So most of the time when I do my stuff, I don't give anybody the choice, which Blake keep talking. But when I pitched this idea, Warren Brown, which is the one up at the top, the black and white one, the more movie poster one, this one here, the today's Furcast, he was the first one that I approached because what I wanted was I wanted a almost dreary, gross, unsettling variant cover to kind of separate from the more vibrant stuff that we have. And the first person I had was the creator of Sig and Joe. I call him the master of grayscale, and he'll keep fighting me about that, but whatever, is Warren Brown. Even though Kit ripped his book apart when we reviewed it, he wanted to do a cover for me. When I showed him the script and I gave him when I said, hey, yeah, I want you to do this. But really, I actually threatened his family. So, but he did really good on that. The next one is Jason Lennox's, which is the Heck Lord. And this
what is on the head here? Like, what's happening?
Okay, so that is, I think, is the torch of like Satan.
Oh, thanks, Satan.
Yeah,
I'm so glad we got this.
Yeah, I forgot what it's called because Jason Lennox does the Satanic Coloring Book. And
I like how it looks like a pirate hat, and then you've just got like Satan's torch just on a pirate hat, like fashion.
Yeah, I like this cover because it's very kind of random. It's also more unique out of all of them. But this one was great when I contacted him, and he looks at the script, and I give him like the designs, and he goes, "So, what do you have in mind?" And I'm like, "Just use your satanic talents and do a cover." And then he did this. He actually came up with this idea, and I was very pleased with it. But it's also a gimmick. So this is going to be printed on white cardstock, and then you can take it to people to get colored. Or you can have your kids or anybody's coloring. Yeah. So this one, I think Blake and I, when we saw this one first, we gushed over it because it was just so cool.
Yeah.
But I told him that I would cut off his testicles if he didn't do a cover. So
the threads just keep getting more and more elaborate and detailed. Do you ever run out of details of threats?
no, I watch a lot of gore movies.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
that's a good point. Do I miss any variant covers? Okay, yep,
yeah,
I knew there was another one.
This one, I think, was the one that shocked us the most.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know the story behind this one, right?
Yeah,
I'm not
the one by
sure.
Kaylin.
Oh. Yeah, Kaylin. Are you familiar with Kaylin, Lauren? Okay, so she does Plume and For Goodness Sake as well. Those are her two books. She does a couple of other things too, but I know her from Plume. Her and I were table buddies at Michigan Comic-Con. And that's how we met. She's actually from Lansing. And I was really happy. I saw John Westhoff of the Drumsticks of Doom campaign. He did a variant cover with her. And I really liked it. And of course I backed it because I liked that cover.
Right.
And so I decided to go, I wonder if Kaylin's free. Like, what is she doing right now? And I go, hey, do you want to do something you'll regret?
And then Kaylin woke up and there was just a chat on a tricycle, just like
yes.
Tricycle.
Hey,
I want to play a game.
I want to play a game. If you could draw Sparkledog. And then I showed her. Showed her the concepts and everything, and she's like, "Yeah, give me money." But we talked it back and forth as well, because her and I, we do talk not as frequently as I would like to, but we do talk sometimes often. But she came up with the Hero We Need one, which is like an anime style main character type variant. I mean, I was very happy with it. And it also has her little flair, because that face of him looking up is kind of what Kaylin does a lot. And it's always very piercing.
Yeah.
So, yep.
Yeah, I love the purple, like, everywhere, including the eyes and stuff. Like, I feel like some people think it clashes, but I think it works super well, especially for Quinn's character and kind of their attitude and trolliness, I guess, as you said. Like, that is evident from, like, the first few pages alone. It just, woo, Quinn smacks you in the face.
But that's what I like, is because it's the more disgusting, the better. You know? I mean, the main cover, though, that one, though, is just as gross. So
it is, but I love how, I mean, this looks like a kaiju here. Like, this is, I see why this was chosen as the A cover. It's just absolutely brilliant. And it's interesting how the cover we just looked at, Quinn looks a lot more menacing. And then, I don't know if this is supposed to be Quinn or not, but the purple hair, I'm thinking yes. Like, this paints Quinn in a much different image than the other color.
Yeah. Oh, Blake, what were you going to say?
Oh, I wasn't going to say anything, but I will say that this does put it in more perspective of how that comic goes, where it's Quinn isn't the intimidating one, it's Sparkledog.
Yeah, Quinn is a puppet. But you are right. For this one, C. Michael Lanning, he actually, this one I didn't have to threaten anybody. I also didn't have to threaten Kaylin because she's scary. But C actually messaged me asking if he could do a cover.
Oh wow!
Yeah, that was really great. Yeah, but obviously him and I we talked business and everything too. So not saying anything, but he when he showed me this, I watched the progression of it on his Sketchy Saturday. He's part of the Indie Comics Network with us as well. But I watched the progression of this weird kaiju cover, and I was like, Blake, and I sent it to him, like, this has to be the main cover. Like, and he's like, yeah, damn it.
Yeah.
But Blake did design a cover for it as well, and it's at the very bottom. And I'm also very happy about it too. Blake captures, and I give a shout out to his artwork because he's come a long way. He does like a webcomic called Tuck and Roll, and it's really, really, really nice to see how terrible Tuck and Roll is, and then seeing how SparkleDog is awesome looking. No, I'm just kidding. Tuck and Roll.
Say, poor Blake. You're just beating up on the poor guy.
Oh, you should see our review with me and him where I'm reviewing it. I'm taking pot shots.
Oh yeah, and I'm like, I have COVID during the time too, so he's just like merciless still, just like.
No.
Oh, you're sick? I'm sick of your comic, Blake.
Oh my god.
You're fucking coughing. I'm coughing vomit out of it. No, but the amount of Blake puts in a lot of effort, and I do recommend checking out Tuck and Roll as well. But just seeing the evolution of his artwork is a lot of fun. But yeah, so I'm very proud of this weird Five Nights at Freddy's being eaten style cover. Unfortunately, this one was the 48-hour one, so you can't get it now. I mean,
unless maybe you're super lucky in 3 years and you guys are like, here, have some extras.
Yeah, well, we do have it as a tier stretch goal as well. So it will get added if we meet the stretch goal, but it also on one of the tiers as well, the cover does come in it. So it kind of works out better. But we did it as a 48-hour because I wanted to spite Blake.
No, it's a great cover. It's honestly, it was a great choice for 48-hour because it's that good in terms of like, oh crud, I can only get it now. Well, I guess I have to back it because I mean, it's one of my favorite covers out of all the covers. This is a personal favorite of mine. So Blake, I think your work is fantastic. Chad can take a nap.
You know what? That's fair. I'm leaving.
No, Chad, come back. You have to tell us more about SparkleDog and when SparkleDog's going to haunt us.
Blake, when is SparkleDog going to haunt us?
Every freaking night.
It's not just 5 nights with SparkleDog. It's all the nights.
It's all nights. All 6 issues. They're not going away, though. So...
Well, see, that's good to know. So we got 6 issues to look forward to, which is super duper exciting. Are there any other rewards in particular that you're super excited about? We went through all these variant covers. You got some digital indie comics, which is fantastic.
Yes. Yeah. Sorry, go on. I apologize.
No, you're totally fine. Tell me about whatever rewards you want to tell me about.
Yeah, so the indie comics I was very excited to get. This is the $15 tiered indie comics bundle, but it is a stretch goal that if we do overfund, this now gets added to everybody, so it's kind of nice. When I announced that I was doing this, the amount of people that sent me stuff was great and also very scary. We got some really great stuff in there. We got my favorite, which I was very honored to have in here, Monster Matador by Stephen Prince, which is one of my, if you haven't read Monster Matador, it's one of my favorite indie comics. Have you read Monster Matador, Lauren?
I have not. I've never even heard of it.
What? Oh man, I got to get you in contact with Stephen. Oh, he's a great man to talk to. It's about Matador fighting kaiju and monsters.
Ooh, that sounds fun.
Yeah, it's amazing. But we have my books, Lyrical and Blue. We have Blake's, which was really funny when we asked him, when I said, hey, Blake, do you want to add yours? He kept asking, going, well, wait, my stuff is more of a trade paperback. I'm like, Blake, I got this. I can make it into a single issue. So I just took on everything, and there's nothing there. But we also have Roadkill Rampage by Tina and Rodney Fink. I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank on Tina's last name. Forgive me if she won't beat me up. But that's from Hasms. And then we have Bulletproof Chicken from John Westhoff, and then a bunch of other goodies. So when I sent out the call for it, we got a pretty good variety of stuff. We have a kid's book, which is Pitter Patter, and then we have all the way to the more violent stuff, which is Bulletproof Chicken and Blood and Fire. So
I think SparkleDog and Bulletproof Chicken should meet. I mean, that just sounds like chaos that's needed.
The crossover event of the century.
Yeah.
See, there you go.
Bulletproof Chicken, SparkleDog, which one wins, and it's like an Evil Dead type crossover. Oh no, that's actually a good idea.
See?
No,
There's these things, Chad.
Tina and I have joked about a Roadkill Rampage and Sparkle Dog crossover.
Ooh.
Yeah, she's been very supportive of this campaign.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and I apologize profusely to her.
Well, and I like that you have your own book in here, because I know I spoke with you in the past, Chad, about Blue Lullaby. And honestly, what would happen if Blue and Sparkle Dog met? What would happen?
Probably a catastrophic nightmare.
Yeah.
Blue's powers are, well, Blue would probably, I couldn't say who would win, but it would destroy probably the world. Like, it would be bad because he's an overpowered being, and so is Sparkle Dog. So, now, granted, though, Blue does show up in Sparkle Dog.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, Blake, tell it, because it's a really fun story.
So, there's a couple other if it's the what I'm thinking of, it's the background references and such, right?
Yes. If you scroll up to the first page.
I'm working on it, I promise.
No, it's okay.
3, 2, 1. Found it.
Okay, so if you'll notice in the background, there's a lot of these posters and stuff. These are all references to some other independent indie comics and such like that. Like up there, there's Beige Gavel, which is a reference to a comic that Chad let me borrow that I really, really like.
What's it called?
Black Hammer.
Thank you.
And I kind of covered it up a bit with the shading, but there's also Masticate up there, which is a parody of Chew.
Yeah, that was one of my favorites.
And then actually in this latest page, I'm not done with it yet, but I do have in the background, I've put Red Alarm, which is the opposite of Blue Lullaby.
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you.
There's little teasers and stuff in there.
There's also Blue is a little figure too. Is that in that page? Yeah.
A figure on here?
The first panel.
The first panel.
A little figurine.
Trying to see where the figurine is. Am I just blind? Is it over here, maybe?
Yeah, it's right there.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, you can definitely see it clear when you zoom in.
Yeah, it is a little bit fuzzy. I also have the campaign up because I'm addicted to viewing it.
That's what I hear when people are running Kickstarters. They don't sleep because they're just every 2 hours at least checking that Kickstarter.
But I told myself I wasn't going to do it. Anyway.
It's hard to avoid it. Well, Blake, I wanted to ask, since you are the artist, obviously, what was the most important, element that you wanted to make sure was in every single panel of, Sparkle Dog?
Something a little unnerving in every panel. Whether it's like background details, like weird stains on the walls, or just something a little too idyllic. Just something that's getting off this impression of like, I don't feel comfortable, and that's because that's Quinn's entire existence during this comic series. It's just
I don't feel comfortable, and I need a safe space.
Right.
That's what the rainbow's for, to give us a slight illusion of a safe space. That's it. That's all we get. I'm just so excited. And I was looking and reading these stretch goals here. And we already talked about a couple of them. Chad, you brought up the digital indie bundle. You brought up the other, one of the covers becomes a $15 tier. And then you're apparently going to sign every book if you get to 3,000. Are your risks prepared for that?
No.
But they will be signed. Every book.
We have a joke. Oh, go on.
We should live stream it, and just for as long as it goes, it's just like a 10-hour stream of just like
No, we were joking too about doing a video when if we do reach this tier of us like our wrists just like bleeding and breaking because of like the thought of signing everybody's book. Of like some kind of cult sacrifice.
Right? You're gonna need braces and things like that to wear.
Hey, look, if I die during this campaign, maybe look.
That's what it was supposed to be.
It's a sacrifice for Sparkledog. You don't have a choice, Dad.
All hail the Sparkledog. Praise be on the Sparkledog. I've also started calling everybody fuzzbutts. And I fucking hate myself.
You've poisoned yourself at this point, Chad.
I've drank my fucking immunity away. Now it just
this is gonna be the event where there's a pre-Sparkledog event of our side of our lives and a post-Sparkledog.
Honestly, I can see that.
Lose our fucking mind. Every issue is written differently and has just a nightmare of energetic cocaine to it.
Mm-hmm.
No. Except this third issue. I actually think that one's No, that one's probably my most disturbing one that I've written. But it's definitely the tamest that I've written in writing aspect.
How is it both the most disturbing and the tamest? How does that work?
Blake can explain it.
It's just this comic. It's very
it's
everything in this comic has been like every time we've been setting a bar like as like a limit, we just blow past, we just forget it. We just write past it, we draw around it. Everything just there's no limitations with this.
Yeah, when I wrote wrote the scripts, I ended up, and why I say it's also my most disturbing and most tame is because it's mostly based on like visually what's happening and not necessarily the writing. And when you when you're looking at like the writing and everything, you're like, oh, this is very slow. It's very paced out. And then when you looked at what's going on around them, so you actually have to pay attention to what's going on in the panels, you kind of get that sense of, oh no, this one's also very disturbing and gross. The second issue too is almost like that, but that one's a little bit more ADD oriented. So
I feel like the whole series is, Chad. I'm just going to be honest. I haven't read it all.
Well, you know, I'm just happy Blake's here to help me with this.
I feel like Blake, both of you like have this great chaotic energy that created Sparkledog, but Blake might be the kind of tamer one at times. I'm not sure how that works, because then there's Blake here, like, I have to put something disturbing in every single panel of the story. Everybody's being uncomfortable all times.
Yeah, I feel like we're both just contributing our own different forms of chaos to this. Like, they're like again, I keep saying, like, there will be this point where you'll think, like, I don't know about Chad, but I'll think, like, all right, tone it down a bit. And then I'll just go to start drawing, and I'm just, no.
Never mind.
Just go weird with it.
No, and that's actually been a kind of a challenge for me as well, and I think Blake and I both have that challenge, is there are times where I've questioned with Blake too, is it too much? Is it too little? Like, where's the balance behind it? But we always come to the decision of, no, just fucking go with it. Like, just go. The whole point of Sparkledog, because Blake, this is his first comic to actually be part of a team with. Except the anthology thing you were a part of too.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, which that was interesting. No, happy. I'm very happy for them. I'm very happy for them for that. Anyway, but it's been a really experience for both of us, because I get to write genres I never really wanted to write, nor do I think that I would ever have the balls to write. But Blake also gets to expand his well, go Blake. How has this affected you?
Usually,
I get to ask now.
Usually, whenever I'm trying to like make my own comic, I'm figuring out like how do I want to work the panels, how do I want to keep it on theme with tuck and roll. With this, it's more like I'm given these parameters. How can I make that crazy as all get out? Like with tuck and roll, it's a lot more like on rails. With Sparkle Dog, I am actively rocking the cart.
No more rails left.
Yes. Yeah, that's true. I guess it's kind of like the have you ever played a rail shooter video game?
Mm-hmm.
It's like that, only I'm slapping the gun out of Blake's hands.
I love it. I love it. I think, honestly, again, I think this is one of the most outlandish things I've read, and in the best way possible. I'm excited to see this get funded and to be terrified for 6 entire issues for the rest of my life. I am thrilled to add that to my trauma. Anything you guys last second that you want to touch on before we get out of here?
Go on, Blake.
No, Chad. I'm putting
okay.
my foot down. You talk. No,
fine. I can talk all day. No,
it's true. Don't let Chad do it because he'll do it.
Yeah, trust me. There's a reason why people don't let me on their show. No, I'm just kidding. I think one of the things that I do want to tell people is when it comes to writing this stuff, just have fun. And when it comes to Sparkle Dog and looking at it, if you really think that this book is meant to be taken seriously, you kind of no. Yeah, like the whole point of this book is it's supposed to be experimental. It's fun. It's silly. It's just a really good time. God, that fucking. Never mind. I keep seeing the Sparkle Dog.
Blake just hides Sparkle Dog and the rainbow.
Yeah.
Like, you look at the rainbow, you're like, wow, this is so nice and peaceful. Then Sparkle Dog.
Like, oh no. It's just have fun with creating comics, but also too, Sparkle Dog is meant to be this really silly, very experimental book of just having fun. And I definitely, I think I say that Blake and I are super pleased and super excited to be able to give you a book that originally we weren't supposed to fucking do. And then we did. Right.
And ultimately that is the point of this comic, I feel. Like there isn't any like message behind it. It's the message is have fun. And that's what we've done every step of the creation process of this. I know we sort of like grown like, we had to, but I've thoroughly enjoyed every panel I've drawn on this because it's so creatively freeing of just like, make this look cool and crazy, go, instead of like, make it look semi-realistic and don't draw their eyes all buggy and instead just go crazy, just have fun. And that's I've been having a blast drawing every panel of this comic.
Yeah, and that's like kind of even with the lettering of the comic too. Like everything is just supposed to be looking fun and broken and goofy and silly. I've had some creators go, "Chad, this lettering is awful," and I go, "Yeah," and I just stop. And I'm like, and then finally, like some of them will go, "Oh," and I'm like, "Yeah." You get it.
Yeah.
Thank
no,
you.
It's so great just to see people that are making comics just for fun. I think that's something that, honestly, I know every comic creator, at least I've ever spoken to, is making a comic because they want to, and hopefully they are enjoying it. But I know a lot of people also get caught up and, try and get their comic seen and pushing it out there and the business of it. And it's very hard and grueling. So it's nice to just see people that are like, you know what, this is crazy and we want to do it though just for fun. And I think that's really going to resonate. It already resonates with me, but I think it'll resonate with a lot of our people too. Just fuck it, have fun, get the issue and have a good time, see what happens. Maybe somebody else can have a show where you drink and read Sparkle Dog out loud and say where the hell you want about it. I think Chad and Blake would have a great time watching somebody do that.
Oh, please do. Wait until you see how SparkleDog talks. That'll be great.
You always have a fun way, Chad, because I know you did this with Blue Lullaby. You always have a particular way of making creatures talk. There's never just one way. It's like, okay, monsters talk like this. Like, you're very like, no, this monster is this creature is this, and it's different every time, which I'm enjoying.
Thank you. That's one of the things that I always try to keep in I try to do with creatures and monsters is, if I want to do a sophisticated one, I will, but they're also a fish out of water in like a more like a foreigner, if you will. And I think I talked about that with Blue, but Blake was the one who actually came up with the speak at the end of SparkleDog Talks.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Him, and it was really gross, and I'm like, because originally
that's how you know it was Blake, right? The extra level of discomfort. I'm kidding.
I mean, I've actually talked to some furries as well, and I've asked them, hey, how would you say this in furry speak? And most of it is painful to read. Then I translate it, and it's like, oh. But Blake was the one who came up with a lot of the more. I would say Blake actually designed SparkleDog in the way he is for the whole situation the whole time. He had the most fun with it, I think.
Yeah, and ultimately, I feel like that's what we're doing. We're just having fun. Like, regardless of if this funds, which it probably will, but regardless, we're gonna make this comic. It's gonna be done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to doing this, we want to be able to get it funded. Obviously, we want, we're getting out there. We want it to be good, but at the end of the day, too, and I know people are going to be like, well, if they're just going to make it, why would I back it? Well, one, you get a lot of great content from it. Two, you get to make this sooner. Yeah, we make it sooner. And two, it's like you get to make this really dumb, goofy book come to life. And along with that too, I mean, we might not end up having, some of these variant covers or just some of the stuff that we have involved with this Kickstarter. So I definitely would love it if everybody backs and just takes a look at it. And if you don't like it, like I even said with Blue Lullaby, let me know, because then I would be like, yay. Because at least with the SparkleDog, you got it. Sure, you don't like it? I get it. You love it? I get it.
Either way works. Both is correct.
If you give us a negative review, I'm putting it on the back of the book.
Well, Blake, I'll have you go since Chad just talked. Tell us where people can find you. Plug whatever the world you want about yourself.
Mostly I crawl around on Twitter at tuck_roll because I haven't made my own personal account yet. I've just got the account for my webcomic. I sometimes am on Instagram as well, and it does the same thing, tuck_roll. And that's about where you can find me usually online. I'm generally just my nose in my tablet drawing.
Drawing more terrors for us. I love it. Chad, where can people find you and share their reviews, positive or negative?
Home. You can find me at home. No, so you can follow me on Twitter, where I'm currently posting, and everybody's probably sick of it, the Legend of SparkleDog Twitter stuff at Casual Nerd Chad, where I'm doing all kinds of other wacky, goofy stuff, specifically promoting this. You can also find me at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where it's me, Kit, and Blake. Hopefully he'll be here this Monday for our Gut Rot episode. If not, I'll kill him.
You've got booze. I'll show up.
I know. Where we'll be doing our Halloween Gut Rot episode if you can't make it then. But 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Shots with Comics on Mondays on the Indie Comics Network, where me and Kit get drunk. We talk about comics, and we get very offensive and mean. And you can also find me at... That's actually it.
No other places, the gym, work. I mean, no, I'm kidding.
You can find me at work. So when you go to my job and you find me, I will be there.
Please bring your negative reviews, because then he can say, darn, I can't do my job, guys. I have negative reviews to deal with.
Yeah, if you can give me a negative review, I promise I will not improve the second script. It will never improve.
Well, all that said, Blake, Chad, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for coming on the show. Everybody that is watching this, go back to Legend of Sparkledog issue 1. The link will be in the description below. So if you're super lazy like me and you don't like typing things, you can just click like 3 times and you've already backed it. So, I mean, come on. It's so easy. You get Sparkledog in 3 clicks. That's the best y'all have ever heard.
Hell yeah.
And yeah, we'll see you guys next time on Your Friendly Neighborhood Comic.